What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, saints and inks, and welcome to Lactic Acid. I'm your host, Dominique Smith. Today, I have a certified baller shot caller. She has Waffle House letter batter consistency, as consistent in the Florida heat, whether it's on the tracks, in the roads, and guess what? She's helping people reach their full potential. Coaching has literally Michael Jordan Game 7 type qualities, and you know what Brother Man did when he had the flu, and she's had some performances like that on the track as well. She's none other than the legend that is Ms. Kim Conley. Kim, appreciate you coming on the show. How you doing today?
I am so good now. That's the most amazing intro I've ever had in my life.
Listen, it's all facts. As we say on this show, all thriller, no filler. That's how we roll on here. So, gotta ask you this question because I've been asking, this is my summertime question, if you will. So, everything I just said about Kim, I've not only taken notice, but there are three people, well, four, that have taken notice of this as well. Those people are the president of Food Network, Ben and Jerry. Both of them decided just to watch those awesome 5Ks. And then the network, whoever owns Nickelodeon, they had dinner one day because they're trying to get a summertime promotion going. Business is slow, and they're just trying to get everybody excited about the wonders of running. And they're like, who can we promote? Who would be the best ambassador? And they said none other than the legend, that's Kim Conley. So what they're going to do for you, Food Network's going to fly an executive chef, one of their best chefs, and they're going to cook you a gourmet meal, whatever you want it to be. That's what they're whipping up, and you can put it, or it's going to be put in every menu known to man. So any menu that they're affiliated with is going to be on there. Ben and Jerry were like, yo, we have to get on this. So what they're going to do for you, they want you to come up with two flavors of ice cream. They're going to combine it into one, and they're going to sell it everywhere. Lastly, Nickelodeon. There was a show back in the day called The Wild Thornberrys, and the main character, Eliza Thornberry, had the power and the ability to talk to animals. That power is going to be given to you. So you get a chance to talk to any animal that you'd like. So we need the gourmet meal. We need the ice cream flavors. That's going to be combined into one. And then we need the animal that you want to have a conversation with.
Okay. Wow. Okay, don't fire me, but my gourmet meal, it's gonna be spaghetti and meatballs
I'm not
because
mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
when when I go to a really nice restaurant and there's spaghetti and meatballs on the menu, like it gets me so excited. It's my favorite meal in the whole world. And when it's done in a gourmet way, it just blows my mind. So um that has to be my Food Network choice. Ben and Jerry's. When I was a kid, I used to get this ice cream called marble fudge, and it was like vanilla
Ooh.
ice cream with like this fudge swirl in it. And I'm like on this constant life quest to find it again, and I can't.
Marble fudge, you
So
said?
yeah, marble fudge. That's what I'd like from Ben and Jerry.
I got to find this myself. Like, oh my goodness. Oh Lord, have mercy. That sounds, oh, I'm so sorry to cut you off, but that got my soul anticipating some excellence right there. Marble fudge. Okay. All righty. So marble fudge, spaghetti, and meatballs. Tell me, what animal are you talking to?
Is it a specific animal or is it one type of animal? What are we
You
going
know
for
what? You the goat. So you tell me what you wanted.
here?
That's how we're rocking.
Well, what I really want to know is what's in my own dog's head. I mean, I
Okay.
do talk to him all the time, but I'm just pretending like what he's saying back to me. So in general, I think I would like to talk to dogs. When I was a kid, I kind of thought I could talk to dogs, slash I just convinced my younger brother and sister that I could talk to dogs. So I would bark out the window, get the neighborhood dogs going, and then translate back to them what they were saying.
Oh my gosh, that's next level. That is, I said Eliza Thornberry. That's some Debbie Thornberry energy. Like that's something else. All right, I see. I see how you were going with it. Okay, I see you. Wow, I would have loved to hear what those dogs were saying when you were barking at them and just randomly. Like I would have loved to know what was on their mind. Well, like what in the world's going on? So I found the ice cream, the marble fudge ice cream. and
Oh, yes.
it's in California. I don't know how to pronounce this.
Okay, that's where I grew up.
Alameda.
Yeah,
Okay, it's called Tucker's
Alameda.
Ice. Okay, it's called Tucker's Ice Cream, and
Oh my gosh, you're amazing.
yes, and they have the marble fudge ice cream, and you can order it online and everything. It's vanilla ice cream based with rich ribbons of chocolate fudge swirls. I don't know if you can see it on here. No, you can't. But yeah, I found it. So
That is so exciting. All right, I'm going home in July. I'm going to order it.
so I don't know where that is from your home squad, your hometown, but Tucker's Ice Cream has it. They have it. It's ready for
Perfect.
you. So I'm glad we were able to to get that. Now I live in freaking Orlando. Now I have to go try to pay $10,000 to try to doggone Alameda, California for some ice cream. Like, come on, like Cold Stone, y'all couldn't carry this. Like, come on. Oh man. Okay. Spaghetti and meatballs. What makes good spaghetti and meatballs?
I mean, I think it's probably in the tomatoes and the tomato sauce. Like especially in tomato season, in California. Man, yeah,
Oh,
if you get like freshly made tomato sauce, it's good.
that's different. Y'all coming different out there. You know what's crazy? I used to be. This is so stupid that I'm about to say, but I have to say it because this was my life for 20. I'm 29, so for 28 years, 28 and a half years, this was my life. I was afraid to try meatballs. So, like, I don't know what it was about them, but it just gave me anxiety. Like, I cannot eat that. Like, all this meat in a ball, like, I can't do that. That's like inhumane. Like, why are people doing this? It like scared the crap out of me. So I could never eat. My mom loved it. Everybody loved it. And I just had this preconceived notion that it was the worst thing in the world. And then one day,
I mean, there's some logic there.
not to that stupidity that I was pumping out for 28 years. So I mean that's fine. One day I was in Whole Foods and they had the samples. Two things. I went to a party and then I went to Whole Foods and I had regular meatballs. And I was like, wow, like this is like legit. Then I had Italian meatballs at Whole Foods because they had it on sale. And they have the samples out if you go on Saturdays. And you're only supposed to grab one, but I took six because they were so yeah. So I hope nobody from Whole Foods is listening to this. You know, y'all need to have them samples out the next time I come. Because they were so good. They were so good. And I went home and a couple weeks later I actually made some. Well, by made, I went to Publix and they had the pre-made meatballs and I just put them in the oven and ate them like with some pasta. So now I feel you. Like when you talk about the power of the meatball, I got you. I'm with that. So I don't know. Do you
Mm-hmm.
make them yourself? Have you made them yourself?
I have made them myself, but I don't think I do them as well as most chefs do them. Um, but yeah, I think if I were, if I'm working with the Food Network to design my own, I would go for bison meatballs. Sounds pretty good.
I can't hate on that because shout out to my friend Elise Cranny. Shout out to Elise Cranny. We've been talking about it recently. If she came on the show and I asked what food did she want, and she said a bison burger. I was like, no,
Nice.
like no, it's not nice. Like, what are you doing? And in that 5-minute conversation, she convinced me to try a bison burger. So I recently just had a bison burger, like a double patty bison burger, and it was one of the most wonderful things I've had in my years of existence. This body's built on fried chicken. My mindset is fried chicken on bus anytime, but um I had to extend the range to, and I was better for it, so I'm with it. A bison meatball. A bison meatball with Italian seasoning. That's the next move. That's the power
Yep.
move. Kim has given me like a revelation. So I appreciate that. See, this is why we have to have greatness on the show. So let me write that down real quick. Bison meatball. We doing that. We doing that. So, Kim, I'm say this all the time opening, but I'm genuinely curious. I have watched some of your races and I have had like panic attacks because of like just from the standpoint of I'm like, ain't no way she doing this. She ain't gonna do it. Oh my gosh, she did. Like it is like this game 7 mentality, but you have been consistent throughout your entire career and nothing seems to like phase you when it comes to the moment. Have you reflected on just everything that you've accomplished, especially in those big moments, how you show up? Like people can't like it's like, listen, why are y'all trying Kim Conley? Like y'all know she's capable of doing it. So give her flowers. Do you ever have you ever reflected on just the journey and just how well you've done, over the years and just some of the amazing things that you've been able to accomplish?
Yeah, I have. And when I look back on those moments, I think like part of the reason I could like pull something out of myself in those moments is that I really just love to be competitive. And so my favorite my favorite races are the ones where I just feel like I'm in the thick of it. And it's not like I came out winning or came out nabbing a top three finish in every single situation, but I really love feeling like I have a chance.
Yeah.
And so, I always went into those races less worried about the actual outcome and more focused on putting myself in a position to just be where I want to be when it comes down to the last lap or comes down to the last 200, because I love that moment when you are digging down deep and you're in the thick of competition.
Where does that clutch gene come from? Like where did that originate?
Um, I have no idea. Just yeah, I mean, I think part of it is that I didn't start out my journey as like a top level athlete. And so, when I learned to love the sport, it was not about winning races, because when I was, junior high level runner, like I wasn't going to win any races. But so kind of figuring out how I could find a race within a race and find things that were important to me, like performing for my team, in the cross country season, just if, trying to beat one person right before the finish line, because that would save a few points for my team. I just learned to get competitive in the moment, rather than ever worrying about like where I was actually finishing on the result sheet.
That is, do you ever feel like you like have run with a chip on your shoulder? Just kind of some extra motivation, or would you chalk it up purely
Oh
to the
yeah.
love of the game? Okay. Okay.
No, there was, yeah, definitely. I mean, I graduated college and I hadn't made it to NC2As on the track. And so, like those first years as a pro, I felt like I had so much to prove.
Now you transition from whooping everybody on the track to instilling fear on the roadways. How has, and I know you've done it a couple years, I think, what was it, 2016, 17? You competed in the half marathon championships, but now, if I'm not mistaken, you're primarily on the roads. How has that transition been like for you?
Mhm. It's been good. I was ready to leave the track, so I really have had no regrets about that. My first track season was in 1998, and I competed every single year on the track through 2021. So it was a long road. And so in 2022, when I had my first year not competing on the track, like there was absolutely no element of regret. I felt ready, and um, I had there are so many great race opportunities all over the world, but also in this country. And because I was so focused on the track and, trying to be someone that contended to make, the Olympic teams and the world championship teams, I had to forego a lot of cool road race events so that I could focus on my track training and have full track seasons. And so I was very excited to kind of break out of that model. and get to go all over the country, going to different road races that I'd always just been following, but never gotten to partake in before.
How fun is it? How much fun are you having? Like just doing it all.
So much fun. Yeah, I really love like analyzing different courses before the races. So that is a totally different wrinkle from the track, obviously. So I like that variety. And then I like, we talked about, because I have started coaching runners that are all doing road races. I really like the more community feel with road races, that,
Mhm.
that like I do go to races that have elite fields, but there are thousands and thousands of other runners there. And I love that atmosphere and that sense of community.
Really, I should have introduced you as Coach Kim Conley because you are a coach now. Um, so Coach Kim Conley, which is a nice ring to it. What made you want to get into coaching?
I did right after college. I stayed in Davis and I was an assistant coach in the program for 5 years. But it was when my own running career was taking off and I was traveling all over the world and I was really busy with that I stepped back, because I knew that I wasn't giving either career path 100% of myself, and coaching would always be there. And so in 2021, I had the opportunity to get back into it in like more of a remote online context with adults, not, at the college setting, which is a grind.
Yeah.
And I really, really loved it. I've just had so much fun getting to know people all over the country, and just developing these relationships and helping people um, discover and learn to love the sport and fulfill their potential. So yeah, I've just been so happy.
I'm going to ask just maybe one or two more coaching questions. Then we're going to transition. But you have a program, Next Best Run. Elite coaching staff, by the way. You have like doggone you, your husband, Lauren Hagen. So, I mean, if you think about running, if y'all somebody out there just thinking about running, just go ahead and sign up for that. So you can be on your way to 2:15 in the marathon. But what kind of went into that? What made you want to start that, and what were the nuances behind that?
Um, yeah, I mean, well, so I was coaching for one coaching service, and my husband was coaching for another coaching service, and so mostly it was just about combining forces and creating something with our vision that was our own.
Okay. How's it been so far, and what is it about your vision that's unique to what you do?
It has been really, really good so far. Yeah, we've had good response, and we've yeah, just felt like kind of organically we've been able to build more of a sense of community than I anticipated. And so one of the things we did getting off the ground was we road tripped out to the East Coast and did an event with a really cool group of people we have in New York, and then went up to Boston for the Boston Marathon, and we had people that were running there. Um, and so I think one thing we're looking to do more and more of, and we're planning something actually for Global Running Day next week in Vegas, but we want to kind of do almost more of like a hybrid setup. So it is remote coaching and we can coach people all over the world, but also to do more in-person events, so that we get to really like build those relationships more, because that's where we're finding the most joy, is in developing those relationships.
That sounds very like one of a kind. Like, we could talk on the phone, but I'll see you in
Yeah.
2 days and we can have this event, and then you get that one-on-one connection in training, but also you can kind of see, all right, this specifically is what you're doing wrong. Like, this is a fix. That is, I don't know too many people that do that. Maybe it's just me, concentrating on the throws, but I want to say that's like the first of its kind, or at least in very rare company. I think about it. We're going to get off track for a second. Tell me, but more importantly, tell the people, what are three things that people do not know about the legend that is Miss Kim Conley?
Three things. That's so many.
Okay.
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, I already told you that when I was a kid, I pretended like I could talk to dogs, and
Yeah, you used to bark
that
at
was
them.
very revealing.
Oh man, that is so let's
um,
so we'll use that as
thank.
one. We'll use that as one. Oh man. So she
All right.
spoke she
Um,
she talked to dogs. But honest to God's truth, now that I think about it, that's something that I feel like every kid probably at least would have tried because you're just curious to see like if they would respond.
yeah,
So okay.
yeah,
All right.
exactly,
So
exactly.
give me two other things
That nobody knows about me.
that nobody knows.
Man, I don't know. Um, I have, I like growing up, I was an avid journaler, and I still try to do
Okay.
it. I'm a little less disciplined. I try to write in my journal once a week, but I have stacks and stacks of journals that started when I was 7 years old.
Wow.
Um, got a little like Hello Kitty diary with a lock on it.
Okay.
And so I started writing, and I have like some hilarious journal entries from back then about, the list of things I asked Santa for and stuff for Christmas.
Okay.
And it's just been something that has continued throughout my life. And so still do it today. Not lists for Santa, obviously now, but
I mean, look, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You know, the fat man come to your house, so I mean, it's okay. So if you have a list for Brother Claus, then go for it. Heck, I should start making my list and checking it twice. That is the only, I don't know. The older I get, it's like Santa Claus. Well, first of all, it's armed. Well, he's breaking and entering, essentially.
yeah,
Um,
definitely down the
so
chimney, no less.
yeah, down the chimney. He said, "Bump the door. I'm too skilled. I'm going down that chimney." So, kids, if you see a fat man in a red suit at your house at late at night, you better call somebody because that's not the real Santa Claus. Um, okay. Last one. One more thing.
All right. Okay. Oh, this is embarrassing, but um, I'm a horrible swimmer. I hate swimming. I suck at it. And so if I'm playing with like my nieces and nephews in the pool, and they want to, do like piggyback rides and we're going to the deep end, I take my aqua belt that I use for when I'm cross training. So I'm a grown ass woman, but I've got my flotation device on so I don't
Ain't
drown.
nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Safety first. You what I feel like, listen, that's a power move. It's like, okay, because I would be like, listen, Uncle Dom ain't going in that water. Like, come on. I'm on land. You operate with land. You're not Katie Ledecky. Like, I understand that.
Thank you.
So no, don't listen. I'm not good at swimming either. I was at the beach one time. Because here in Florida, we have a lot of beaches. It's at New Smyrna. And I have no business in this water, but we're in high school. It's like 12th grade, and too many people were at the beaches. So we're looking, and I saw like this fin out. It's like, oh snap, a dolphin is out there. But this kid with goggles, he like goes underneath the water, and he looks. He says, "Oh, Dad, there's a shark." So but here's the thing, I didn't swim. I ran. Like Jesus walked on water. I was trying to sprint on that water. Like I had to get up out of there. I haven't been to the water ever since. So don't apologize for that. Listen, brother had floaties, that little noodle thing, the noodle and everything. Here's how I look at it. And this is a prop to you. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And that's what you do when you're in those deep ends of the pool.
Fair enough.
So that is a W. When, and I'm curious, when did you stop believing in Santa Claus, or what did it for you?
Um, I can't remember how I figured it out, but I think I was like 8. Um, and so my brother and sister, they're twins and they're just 18 months younger than me. So once I figured it out and like with my mom and like kind of like, told her, then she brought me in on the secret, and that was amazing. Like, loved kind of like knowing that it wasn't real, but like we had to make sure we didn't spoil it for Emma and Alex. That was big for me.
Oh man. I one day, see, my mom's a single parent, and so one day I remember, um, for years we used to, do the milk and cookies things, and I would like wake up at 4 and it was gone, and like all the presents were underneath the tree. But one year, my mom said, Santa doesn't want cookies and milk this year. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, Santa wants a Danish. And so we went to the store and got like these cheese Danishes. And I went to bed early, but I got up at like 10 o'clock and I saw her eating them. I was like, okay, this is not real. So,
Busted.
so I was like, okay. I wasn't even mad. I was like, all right, that's fine. Cheese Danish and like some milk or some tea or something like that. I was like, all right, dang, that's cold blooded, but all right, that is what it is. Let me go back to sleep so I can open these things up. I don't know, but
As long as the presents are there.
Yeah, as long as it's there and as long as I have my share, then we're fine. We're fine. Dang, now I think about that I may have to do that to my kids too. Like, listen, Santa wants a 2-piece extra crispy, or some bison meatballs. That's a rock. How do you find balance? Like, you're coaching, you're running. How do you find balance to like just chill and do nothing? Whether that's TV, whether that's journaling, whether that's cooking, whether that's whatever. Everybody has their fix. But what is it for you?
It's definitely watching basketball.
Really?
That I just, I love I love watching basketball.
Who's your team?
So yeah, college and NBA, Golden State Warriors.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Are you rooting for the Miami Heat, or can you not root for the Heat?
So here's the thing. This is bad. See, I'm born, raised, still live in Orlando. So as Shaq calls them, I have to root for the Orlando Magic, or as he calls it, the Orlando Tragic. So I root for Orlando. I am a LeBron fan, so I root for his team. But it's weird. If the Warriors had beaten the Lakers, I would have probably rooted for Steph to win.
Yeah.
Because I do appreciate great basketball, and I appreciate Steph, and I actually feel bad for him because nobody decided to play. I mean, give the Lakers credit, but they had some issues on that team, and he was still dropping like 30 each game. So, but you being from the Bay, up in Northern California, I get that. And I forgive me for cutting you off, but what about college basketball? Like, who you root for?
I root for UNC, which I have absolutely no affiliation to UNC other than several friends who convinced me that that's the team I should adopt. So I adopted them.
So I'm a Tar Heel fan too. So
okay.
So I love hearing that. That's like the best news I've heard. And I think, well, we struggled this year, Kate. Like, whether it's Golden State, UNC, we haven't seen good basketball from our teams this year. That is
no, it was a very tough year.
It was thoughts and prayers are needed, because that was struggle. Like, how did we not make the tournament? Did you ever hoop
I know,
like back in the day?
Through junior high. Then I stopped in college, and I stopped in high school to focus on running between cross country and track season.
I was about to say, you stopped in college.
I'm a little short, 5'3".
That's okay. Listen, it does not matter as long as you can hoop. It does not. Well, I guess low key it matters.
Sorry,
but I don't know. I was about to say, she was in college. If she 5'3" and you getting crossed over, okay, that's time. You better go to running. But what kind of hooper were you back in the day?
I was a
What was
guard.
your style? I'll give it a guard. What was your style? More a Steph, or were you more like a Steve Nash, or a?
Uh no, I don't think I was good enough. Like I couldn't be like I very much played like supportive roles.
Okay, like
So
okay,
okay, like I feel like it would be I would be misrepresenting myself to compare me to Clay, but I'll compare myself to Clay.
okay. Listen, Game Six Clay is not this year's Game Six Clay, but
Yeah.
but Game Six Clay against OKC, that's a different Clay. Like
Yeah.
like it. Okay, I'm with that Clay. I don't want to, Clay. I don't want Clay to come on the show and be all sensitive and stuff. But Clay, when in his prime, Clay was about that life. So listen, that's a good comparison.
Yeah.
It's lactic acid. It's the time to, let everybody know how good you are. I will say something though. I I have noticed I have noticed a trend. You distance runners, specifically the female distance runners in the US, all started out in some way, shape, or form hooping on the gridiron. Like it is insane to me. All you guys were hoopers at one point.
Yeah.
Like it is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Julia Griffey.
Yeah.
She is like an elite hooper. I still think she could drop 30 and 10. You know, Ali Ostrander, she came on the show and she told the story about how she hit the game-winning three to end her career in like a tournament and stuff like that. I I have California's better version of Clay Thompson, on the show. So that is just that's an interesting
You got to
trend.
get Molly Huddle. Molly Huddle was really good.
I had Molly on the show, but we didn't talk about hooping. Um, but I
Oh
did
yeah.
hear.
Yep.
Oh
She's good.
gosh, who would be like if the if the women's track and field and road team, like who would be on that team? So we would have you, we would have Molly, we'd have Julia,
Emma Coburn.
Emma Coburn. Oh man, yes, Emma Coburn. Ah,
Yep.
I say Ali Austrian. I feel like I'm missing one more. You guys could compete. Like
Did
you
you ask
guys,
Elise Craney about this?
Elise is a baller too. I
I
didn't.
don't know. I'm asking you.
Oh, I didn't know. Usually they like bring it up, but I mean, I don't know. I think Allison Felix balled out a little bit, so maybe she can come out of retirement for a few days and just kind of hoop it up. I don't know. I'm just saying, if y'all ever get bored, I'm just saying this is something that you could consider. Just whooping everybody, just pull up, drop 30, and go home and take that gold medal. Uh, so basketball, okay. When you're not watching basketball, what else piques your interest that helps you just kind of be balanced and such?
What was that?
I said when you're not watching basketball, what else kind of piques your interest that helps you just
Mm,
maintain the sense of balance where it's not all running all the time?
yeah. Here in Flagstaff, I love going hiking.
Okay.
And I like taking our dog out for long dog walks out in the woods. So that's fun.
Tell me what the food scene is like in Flagstaff.
It's decent. It's definitely like growing up and getting better. Yeah, like they're cool cafes and some nice restaurants now.
I was hoping for like it is lit because like if I'm in altitude, I need something that matches that energy, like that hard to breathe energy. So I was expecting like some legit Italian places, like this is where the mayor of Flavortown came and he tried the most epic spaghetti and meatballs, or something of that magnitude.
There's a really, really good pizza place. That would
Oh,
probably be like my top recommendation for wood fired pizza.
wood fire. Ooh, that's big time pizza. Okay. I usually ask this. I guess
Yeah.
I'll ask it now, but like, what would be your custom made pizza if you had to have it?
Um, it kind of depends on my mood, but
That's fair.
I can always go for a margarita. I like mushroom olive, and then I love barbecue chicken pizza also.
Margarita with a margarita is legit. Um, barbecue chicken pizza. I have not had that before. I've heard of it, but I have not had it. Okay. Okay. So it's like barbecue sauce with chicken and like.
Yeah. Sometimes they put bacon on it too.
Oh Lord. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
let's that. Okay. I'm supposed to be on a diet, but I started saying that 29 years ago. So, one day it'll come. One day it'll happen. I want to move on back to the coaching scene and just kind of wrap this thing up, and then we'll get on out of here. But even before I ask that, I mentioned earlier that you've delivered some incredible performances, but you mentioned from 98 to 2021, you've been balling on the track. How have you maintained such incredible consistency? That is consistency with an attitude. Like that is different.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it goes back to what I was saying in the beginning about not being a superstar early and just like learning to love the sport like on a journey of self-improvement.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't have like frustrating or low moments not performing to like a certain high level of expectation. I was really just trying to get better every year. And um yeah, I mean within that time frame, I think it was a 16-year streak of PRing every season. And again, like a lot of those early years, like they weren't very fast times relative to where I ended up performing, but I just consistently got a little bit better each and every season, and a big part of that comes back to luck, like staying healthy, because those improvements just came from stacking up like months and months and years of training, and then eventually, as I when I became a pro, like building a good team around me of people that could support me in staying healthy and staying happy, and being able to train well.
What, as a coach, what is the biggest message or the biggest concept that you try to instill into the athletes that you work with to help them from the mental side, but also the physical side?
Yeah, that running has to enhance their life. So it can't be something that ever feels like a burden. It can't be something that they feel like they're making all kinds of sacrifices for. Can't be something that they can't look at a workout and feel like it's anxiety inducing. That running has to be time for them. If they have like busy family life, it has to be something that helps them feel like they're doing something good for themselves, or just something that's really enjoyable. And if being competitive is part of that for them, then that's great. Like let's race a lot and try to perform to the best of your ability. But that's a really case by case basis and an individual journey, and so really it's just about getting to know the person and figuring out where running fits into their life and how it's going to make it better.
Couple more questions. How has it enhanced your life?
Oh man. I feel like it's given me so much. It's given me like so many of my best friends, my husband. And it's taught me about like putting in hard work and then just seeing results over time. And it's, certainly in my journey, like success was not something that just came out overnight. It just took years and years of consistency, and so kind of now in any endeavor I pursue, I go into it with that mindset of like water on stone. You just keep chipping away and doing good work and stay consistent, and look for ways to just move up one rung of a ladder every time.
What can we expect from you on the roads this year as all eyes are all miles lead. I don't know. That's not a catchy phrase. I was going to say all miles lead to Orlando, essentially, but I guess they, I guess in a sense they do. But like, what can we expect from you this year?
Yeah, I've been dealing with a frustrating injury this year so far, and I definitely feel like I've turned a corner, and so I'm hoping that by late summer and in the fall, I just gain a lot of consistency racing. I don't intend to do a marathon before the Olympic trials because I just, I want to get fit and I want to stay healthy. And so, yeah, I just really want to get my racing legs back and have fun being out there. And then in the kind of late fall, early winter, start to lay down some really good work for the trials.
You have survived the interrogation process. Now we're on to our final segment. This is called Down the Home Stretch. I'm going to ask you a few rapid fire questions. I want you to answer them to the best of your ability. Are you ready?
Yes.
If there was a food that you could live with for the rest of your life and a food that you could live without, what would they be?
Spaghetti bolognese is the food I would live with for the rest of my life. Um, Food I would live without. All fried food. Sorry about your fried chicken.
Ooh. I actually don't know how to respond to that. And that does not happen on this show. I have to, and I'm introverted by nature, and I have to talk for a living, but I just don't know how to respond to that. Okay. Ooh, Lord help me. Okay, let's get back on track. So okay. Triggered, attacked, but surviving. All right, that's how we're gonna run. What is the best book that you've read this year?
It was called, oh man, what was it called? Bring Yourself, by Mori Tahori. And it was about negotiating, and it was about bringing empathy into conversations, and so it was about negotiations, but it was really just about like interpersonal relationships, and how to communicate more effectively, to build bridges and learn how to work more effectively with people. And I thought it was outstanding. It gave me a really interesting, I don't know, perspective into how to do that more effectively.
All righty. Are you familiar with the show The Office?
Yeah.
Okay. If you had to name a dog after any Office character, what name would you give them?
Um, Probably Dwight.
Okay. Dwight, that's common.
Yeah.
I would say for me, and I don't know, it's weird, but I would actually name it like a full name. Like if I had a dog, I would name it David Wallace.
Nice.
Or a dog or another dog like Bob Mann's Advanced Refrigeration, like, something unique, that allows them
Yeah.
to stand out. What's the last television show you binge watched?
The Office. Actually, so I've watched The Office so many times. The last show I just binge watched the series was the British Office. To mix
Oh,
it up.
with Gervais, Ricky, what
Yeah.
Gervais? Yeah. How is it compare
Yeah.
to, like, what's better, the American Office or the British Office?
The American one is better. British humor is different. I mean, yeah, the sexual innuendos were just like crazy in the British Office, and I don't know if there's just like a totally different angle on the show, or if like British humor is like way different than American humor.
I
But
don't
yeah,
know.
it was
So
like there was things I felt a little shocked by.
I watched, well, first of all, I think Americans ripped off the concept from the British for
Hmm.
that show. I watched the pilot episode and I was so
Hmm.
confused. Like, it's like their humor is just a different kind of humor. Uh because
Yeah.
I was like, oh, y'all laugh at, oh, I'm supposed to laugh? Like, it was kind of strange. I don't know. I could not get into the British office. Alrighty. What is a dream vacation spot for you?
Any little mountain town in Colorado in the
Okay.
summer.
Okay. My favorite place in Colorado is Breckenridge. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is, if I have money and I have more money, I would buy a little house just to be there. It
Yeah.
is incredible. Okay. If you could play any other sport than the one that you participate in, what sport are you playing?
As a woman,
Sure. I mean, it could be any sport.
tennis.
Tennis? Okay. I can take
I
that.
mean, I'm just being honest. Like I wouldn't want to be in the WNBA, but I would want to be in the NBA. So
Okay, but like Spud Webb, he was very short and stuff. So that's what I'm saying.
okay, yeah.
The
Yeah.
people
But I
is
think tennis. Tennis
tennis.
is a good one.
Tennis is a good one. You can make
Yeah.
it in the NBA. Look at the NBA playoffs. Look how many people need a point guard right now. So, like, look at the teams that need a point guard. So, gosh, like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. A couple more questions. If you had to have dinner with anyone currently living, who would you have dinner with?
um hmm. Oh, that's tough. Right now, I'll go with Jimmy Butler.
Really? I'm not mad at the answer. I just didn't expect that answer because he's a great person to talk to. He'd be very interesting to talk to. Um, okay,
Yep.
he's a deep guy. He's arguably the toughest dude, one of the toughest dudes in the NBA right now. And he's gonna bounce back in game 2 and drop 40. So by the time this episode airs, I'm thinking about it. Miami will have either been swept or it's going to be like game 6 or game 7. So we pray the best for the Heat, but before that even comes to pass. So NSYNC or Backstreet Boys?
Oh, Backstreet Boys. I did get to go to an NSYNC concert in 8th grade. But it's still Backstreet Boys was my favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
What was it? It can't be Tell Me Why or I Want It That Way. But honestly, that's the only song I know from them. And that's bad. They were based here in Orlando. What's like your go-to song?
I Want It That Way.
Okay, okay. So tell me, what is like the pump up song for Kim Conley before a big run or before a big meet?
Oh man, this is embarrassing. Lady Gaga, Edge of Glory.
That's not embarrassing. Like if
Okay.
you put like what's that movie? A Star Is Born in The Shallows or something like that, you get pumped up to that would be a problem. But nothing else. Last 3 questions. When is it too early to listen to Christmas music?
Before Thanksgiving.
I don't get y'all people. That is rude. First, you criticize my chicken. Now you take Christmas away from it. So I'm just very disappointed. But that's okay. To each his own. That's
When
my
would
fault.
you start listening to Christmas music?
I don't even want to tell you now. Like it's when there's when would I start and when do I start? So first of all, so let me preface my comments by saying I don't go all out. I may just listen to 1 or 2 songs on this date. And then you slowly build your way up to November. And then you go hard. So the first day of fall, which is September 22nd. You start listening to 1 or 2 light ones.
Okay. So at least you're after Labor Day.
Yes. Oh God, you can't do it before. Well, I ain't gonna lie to you. July around the corner, so we do Christmas in July. Over here, so them halls will be decked with boughs of holly. That's how it is. All right. Two questions. Last two questions. Why does kindness matter to you?
Because the way you make other people feel, like I feel like that's kind of the most important impact you have on the world.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Last question. How has running been kind to you?
I mean, it's given me so many opportunities. I mean, like I talked about earlier, like it's given me so many of the best relationships in my life, but it's also how I went to college. And then it's given me a career. And yeah, it's been, a huge, huge part of my life.
You have survived down the home stretch. That I'm hurt. that hurt me. Of all those episodes, that like I felt like I lost somebody important. I felt like Owen Wilson did when Marley and me, at the end of the movie when they had to put the dog down. That is pain that I'm feeling. But I am so happy you came on the show. What I want you to do though, I want you to tell people where they can follow your coaching business and where they can find you and support your journey on social media.
Cool. Yeah, thanks. Instagram, I'm KF Conley. And our coaching business is Next Best Run. Website is nextbestrun.com, and we're on Instagram as well.
Kim, appreciate you coming on the show, family. Looking forward to seeing the incredible things that you do. Until next time, everybody, love, peace, and chicken grease. We're out.